Welcome to Joe Stunner Boxing. This coming Saturday, which is the 16th of August 2025, there are a couple of very interesting heavyweight fights involving British fighters, in fact 3 British fighters. One of them is the young gun Moses Atama taking on the old warhorse Dillian White. I did a video for that if you want to go and have a look at it, a preview video. But the other one is, it's no less fascinating in a sense. It's Filip Hrgovic taking on David Adeleye. Now, Adeleye is 28 years of age, so he's probably in his prime. He is a former British champion. He won that title against Jamie TKV, rather controversially because he put Jamie Shikeva down twice in the 6th round, but the referee had said break. Shikeva relaxed. Adeleye chinned him, and Jamie TKV couldn't recover. But there was a very controversial element to that fight. And they were going to have a rematch. The board ordered a rematch, and instead Adeleye bypassed the rematch in favour of taking on Filip Hrgovic. Now, Hrgovic, you're probably well aware of him if you're a boxing fan. Decorated amateur, 33 years old now. Big guy, 6'6". He's from Croatia, from Zagreb. Orthodox fighter. And probably has underachieved somewhat in some people's eyes, because he turned pro in 2017, which, 8 years ago now. And he was, slapping people around at a certain level, lower level. Stopped Amir Mansour in 3 rounds. Even fought Tom Little, of all people. We fought him in, I think, 2nd or 3rd pro fight. Beat him in 4 rounds. But he kind of, trod water for a while. You know what I mean? He had a fight with Zhile Zhang, which was heavy going, hard work. We all know Zhang hasn't got any kind of gas tank on him. But to be honest with you, I thought, some people thought Zhang won that fight. I thought Hrgovic edged it. I think he probably won by 115, 113, maybe a 116, 112, if you want to be really generous. But some people do think Zhang deserved at least a draw in that fight. But there's no doubt it was a grueling, tough, draining fight. And the one thing that Hrgovic showed in that particular contest is that, my God, he can take a wallop. I mean, there was some thought that maybe the referee missed a knockdown. There was a knockdown in the 1st round against Hrgovic. When I was watching it, I thought, was that a knockdown? But I don't know. I've seen him given. But he won the fight. He won the fight against Zhang. An arduous fight, but he won it. And then he's had a couple of gimme fights, like Mark Demore in a round on a Riyadh card. Imagine getting paid for that, a 1-round knockout. Mark Demore, in case you don't know, is an Australian fighter who taught himself how to box by watching YouTube, and it shows. He got done years ago by David Hay in a round, and Hrgovic, the moment he hit him, it was all over. But then Hrgovic bumped into Daniel Dubois. The comeback in Daniel Dubois, who'd been knocked out, quit essentially against Alexander Usyk, had come back with a very good win over the Walking Pharmacy, Jarrell Large Infant Miller. Dubois kind of proved quite a bit in that fight, I thought, against Miller. Because Miller was coming on strong in the middle rounds, around about 4th or 5th round, and Dubois sucked it up and just kept moving forward and letting his hands go, and eventually stopped Miller in the last round. Well, I still felt that Hrgovic would have too much of everything for Daniel and would probably make him quit again. But in actual fact, Daniel, although he was very free and easy with his head, outpunched Hrgovic, which is a hell of an achievement. I mean, he just would not stop coming forward. Hrgovic was landing great right hands on Dubois to start with, and Dubois was taking them. I mean, whatever you say about Daniel, I don't think his chin's that bad. I think his psyche is rather fragile. But Nothing wrong with his chin, not really. He's got a touch of the Andrew Golottas about him, Daniel, I think. And Daniel ended up stopping Filip Hrgovic on cuts in 8 rounds. But I'll tell you what, again, Hrgovic was taking a skipful of right hands off Dubois. We know how hard Dubois hits. Again, nothing wrong at all with Filip Hrgovic's jaw. Tremendous punch resistance. He then came back earlier this year in April with a 10-round unanimous decision over Joe Joyce, who, his career on the skids. I think he'd lost 3 of his previous 4. It then became 4 out of 5 for Joe, 4 out of 5 defeats for Joe. And again, we said, he soaked up the punishment, took those bludgeoning punches from Joe, landed his own punches. He is cut prone though now, because he's cut quite a few times in the past. Another fight that bears mention is he almost went the distance with Dempsey McKean. He stopped McKean, who was undefeated at the time, in 22 fights. He stopped him in the 12th and final round. And McKean was then bombed out in his next fight by Moses Talma in 1 round, floored twice and stopped in a round. So in other words, I think we can call Filip Hrgovic a sort of hot and cold fighter. Sometimes he does look very good. He's got good skills, lovely jab, big right hand, decent power. Footwork's not at all bad. But I don't know, maybe there have been, some people have asked, well, does he actually want to be a fighter? Does he really want to do this for a living? He's got the mechanics, but does he actually want to be a boxer in the golden ring, as they say? So you've got, on the one hand, you've got this, well, a guy I suppose you could call, so far anyway, a bit of an underachiever, but someone who's still very well thought of. And still clearly a world-class heavyweight against a guy with world-class pretensions who, he did stop Jamie TKV in his last fight. Prior to that, he knocked out Solomon Dakers in a minute and a half or whatever it was, in 1 round to win the English title that was held by Dakers. And Dakers actually came back recently with a very, very good win over Vladislav Sirenko, who was undefeated in 22 fights. And Solomon Dakers was a revelation in that fight. He outboxed Sirenko and won very, very comfortably, wide on points. So that result for Adeleye, a 1-round blowout of Dakers, it's actually looking pretty good. But of course, Solomon Dakers, Jamie TKV and so on are not exactly Filip Hrgovic, are they? And let's not forget that Adeleye was knocked out, or stopped, should we say, in 7 rounds by Fabio Wardley, who was undefeated then, is still undefeated. And that was for the British and Commonwealth titles. That was back in 2023. So when he's hit, he can get rattled. He was down in the 7th round and he got up, and I think, did the ref stop it on when he was on his feet? He wasn't answering back. That doesn't bode well against Hrgovic, because Hrgovic is, apart from the fact he's got a fantastic jaw, he hits very hard and very accurately with the right hand, and I don't fancy Adelaye's chances if those punches start landing. Hrgovic is quite simply far better, with the possible exception of Fabio Wardley, far better than anyone Adeleye has faced, certainly better than anyone Adeleye has beaten. And so for that reason, I think Adeleye will go in with, some self-belief. These are both orthodox fighters, but I just think I can't see him holding Hrgovic off. He'll probably have his little moments. He'll probably land some decent punches on Hrgovic early on, the first 2 rounds. But I think once Hrgovic finds his range, gets his feet, moving properly, probably boxing mid-range to long range, might start long range and then move in mid-range, and then, because Adeleye ain't going to be that difficult to find, I don't think. But I think once the engine starts running on Filip Hrgovic and those right hands start landing, and that jab starts landing as well, because his jab's very good, I think gradually he'll contain Adeleye and quickly go through the gears and probably knock Adeleye out in about 5 or 6 rounds. I don't know whether this is a 10 or 12 rounder. It hasn't been listed yet. I would guess it's a 10-rounder, but don't quote me on that. So if it's a 10-rounder, I see midway stage, I see Filip Hrgovic winning by stoppage. But you may disagree. How many levels has Adeleye got? I mean, he's 28 years old now. Hrgovic is 33. We've probably seen the best of Hrgovic. I know he's meant to be a great gym fighter, but you've got to produce it in the ring, haven't you, under the bright lights. And maybe Adelaide got something for him. I don't know. I just think that Adeleye can be hit. And I don't see him out boxing Hrgovic. I certainly don't see him out slugging Hrgovic, because I just think Hrgovic's jaw is too good and he hits too hard. I mean, don't forget, even though he got slashed to ribbons in the Dubois fight, he wasn't on the floor, Hrgovic. Adeleye has been chinned by Solomon Dakers. But, you know, I mean, you may disagree with me. I'm going for Hrgovic in about 5 or 6 rounds. Let me know what you think. Give me the reasoning behind your predictions, and let me know. Just let me know your opinions. All right, thank you very much. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel if you're new. And we've got plenty of videos for you. Spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and bye for now.